Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cultivate. I am Shanae Arby, CSO of Align, and I am so excited to introduce our Cultivate presenter for this month, Carla Berger. I was connected to Carla through one of our other presenters that we had last year, Rachel Ackerson. They are working together and doing amazing things. And when Rachel was talking to me about what Carla is doing in her business and in her life, I knew we would be lucky to have her come present. So she is going to talk to us today about balance over burnout. One of our values at Align is balance, to make sure that we're always putting first things first, which is our health, our family, ourselves. We're really trying to, kick some of that hustle culture by planning and making sure that we have just really good systems in place to be able to run our online businesses and find joy and happiness in it versus just constantly being tired and burnt out. So today we're going to be talking about simple strategies and some best practices to find balance in your business and in your life without compromising success, right? So that's the part that I'm eager to hear about, because sometimes I know I have firm boundaries around my work schedule. And when I leave my office at night, sometimes I feel like, I still haven't done enough. So I'm here to learn right alongside all of you. So I am going to just turn the time over to Carla, a business and leadership coach. I know she has some amazing things to share with us today, and an offer as well to be able to work with her. So let's hear it, Carla.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And what you just said about your values, that completely aligns with like everything I do, why I created my business, why I'm in business to begin with. Because like if our business isn't serving the life that we love and the life that we want, like what are we even doing? So I am a business and leadership coach for female entrepreneurs. And I know that a lot of you watching here, this may be a side hustle for you, or you may not own your own business yet, but I'm going to come at this from the perspective of business, but everything that I teach today like can apply to life as well. So I am going to share my screen. Oop,
I need to make it so you can share your
I
screen.
know that always happens. I'm like, oops, yeah, that would be helpful.
I know. I even wrote myself a note and I still did that. Okay, try now.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let me get all my, oops.
Perfect.
Okay,
You can see it. Everything looks good.
perfect. Okay, so today we are talking about balance over burnout. And I'll tell you more about this, but I burned out in the past with a capital B. It is not fun. So I am like dead set on making sure that I don't burn out in my business again. And none of my clients, no other women burn out because of their business. So today I'm going to talk about 3 simple strategies to finding that balance in your business and your life without compromising the success of either. Oops. Okay. So before we start, I just want to acknowledge something that it's talked about, but it may like not enough solutions are given. Like it is hard trying to balance building a successful business with also building a successful life. It is hard enough to build a successful life on its own, but here we are trying to build successful businesses too. So like, how dare we, right? So let's just acknowledge that it is hard. A lot of times we believe that in order to make money, we have to hustle, and hustle always, in my experience, hustle leads to burnout, but that is just not true. Like I am still processing this in my brain, right? That hustle, that we don't have to hustle in order to be successful, in order to earn more. And a lot of times many of you have probably done this, will turn to productivity solutions that I personally don't love. Like I've taken a lot of their practices, but a lot of times what I feel about like productivity and the productivity gurus out there is that they are trying to present some like perfect and unattainable way of living life that just seems pretty miserable to set out to do. I read the book Get Things Done and I was like, this is a whole other job that I have to do. I don't know if anyone's read that book, but Getting Things Done, it's like this entire system for managing your to-do list and it's like managing an entire other job. So just like you, I am here. I really want to make an impact on the people that I serve, and I want a business that serves my life, not the other way around. So that is what we are going to get into here. If you take away one thing, let it be this: earning more isn't about doing more, it's about doing less but getting really great at it. So doing less, but doing it better. So this is something that we are not really told, or maybe where it's just ingrained in our minds, like the more we do, the more we'll get, right? That's not necessarily true. And I'll tell you why throughout this presentation. But if you take one thing away from this, please take this away. Do less, but do it better. So just a quick intro about me again. I'm Carla. I'm a business and leadership coach for female entrepreneurs. I used to be a COO, a chief operating officer for small businesses. So I worked with a couple of different types of businesses, 6 and 7 figures, from startups to marketing agencies to hospitality company. And I burned out when I was in corporate. And unfortunately, I didn't know it. Like I didn't even realize that I was on the verge of burnout because I was very high functioning. And I kind of buried myself in my to-dos and in my tasks just to like keep myself busy. But my body told me that I was burnt out. And it told me in the form of a deep depression, which isn't fun. It's something I still struggle with today, but usually your body is going to tell you some way, physically, emotionally, whatever that is. So that was not a great time. During that time, I realized I can't work for anyone else. I need to work for myself. I also realized I am not willing to burn out again. Like, absolutely not. That is not something I'm willing to compromise. So, the way that I'm building my business is slowly, strategically, intentionally, because I know that like chasing after money and chasing after quick wins is not sustainable. So I am like dead set on building a business that doesn't allow me to burn out. So throughout my journey from being a COO, which means like I basically ran companies. So from being a COO to running my own business, I'm kind of a lifelong learner. I love like gathering all the information, like read all the books, take all the courses. And I've developed my own framework for keeping that balance between like your business and your health and your life. And that's what we will talk about today. And it is, I named it the focus filter. It's a silly little name, but you know, I just like to name things. So I call it the focus filter. And basically, first, we're going to talk about how to make achieving goals simpler and easier. And I know it may feel a little strange to talk about goals here when we're talking about balance, but at the end of the day, we always need to make sure we are like, there's a purpose for what we're doing. Like everything we do should align with like that one North Star, and identifying what that is really important in figuring out how to balance everything else. So that's what we're going to talk about first. Then we're going to talk about how to do less, but do it better. That's like the main thing here. And then step 3, how to actually prioritize your tasks. So again, I'm going to talk about this in the context of business, but you can totally apply it to your life. Okay. Step 1, how to make achieving goals simpler and easier. I do this through having one goal in 90 days. Like when people first hear this, they think I'm insane because whenever we're goal setting, we're like, oh, I want to do this and this and this and this and this. And then we end up getting frustrated. So I don't know if you're all familiar with the book, The 12-Week Year. It's an incredible book. It's all about goal setting. It's all about working in 12-week chunks, 90 days, 3 months, one season, however you want to look at it, which is really common in business. But when you look at it this way, like you treat each 90 days like it's an entire year. So each week is almost a month. So you really need to maximize everything that you do in those 90 days. You need to maximize everything that you do each day. Make sure that like you're only working on the important things. So that's the concept behind the 90 days. But one goal, when you think about it, you can focus all of your efforts on one like big juicy goal, whether it's financial, whether it's like an event, whatever that may be. Or you can focus all of your efforts, or you can spread your efforts among several other goals, still big goals, right? And you can get a fraction of them done. So like there's a much better chance that you're going to achieve that one goal rather than spreading yourself thin trying to accomplish multiple goals. So this goes against a lot of goal setting gurus out there and goal setting techniques, but I firmly believe in it, and I make all my clients do it too. So this is how you do it. Like, this seems super simple, but um, first, you want to brainstorm. You really want to take that time to brainstorm like all of the possible things you could accomplish over the next 90 days. I also use like a big vision. So I have my clients create a big business vision that they align their 90-day goals to. So first you want to brainstorm everything that can take you like one micro step closer to your big vision. Get it all out, don't hold back. Don't even think about what's possible and what's not possible at this point. You just want to brainstorm all the ideas. Then the not so fun part is prioritizing. So in this, you want to select one goal. Like what is realistic to accomplish, what feels big, what feels exciting, and what will like make the biggest impact. So when you're prioritizing them, don't just put all of the other brainstorm ideas away yet, because oftentimes you'll have one big goal, but some of those other ideas are steps along the way to help you achieve that goal. So you can think of it that way. So it's not that you're only working on one thing for 90 days. It's just that you're prioritizing that. Like if anything else comes up, you're prioritizing that one goal, and anything that's not like it avoids shiny object syndrome, right? Because if it doesn't lead to that goal, then you can't do it. So you brainstorm, then you prioritize that one goal, then you're going to park the rest. I have a parking lot. All my clients have parking lots, and it can be whatever you want. It can be a book, a document. I use Asana project management software, and I just have all of those ideas in there. So for the next 90 days, when I do the same activity, I can bring back those other ideas. So they're not lost. You're not going to forget about them. It's not that you can never work on them. It's just you're not working on them right now. You're parking them. They're just sitting in the parking lot, waiting until you're ready to drive them. So that is 90 days, one goal, and you will actually get more done when you do this. So one of my clients, she she was a hustler. She worked 24/7. She was trying to do all the things. She was really successful, but she burned out. So I had her work on just one goal for 90 days. And she was so focused because of her work ethic. She was so focused on that she got it done in 1 month, meaning she was able to do more. So, it's not like it has to take you 90 days. It's just focus on that one thing at a time. Like, don't try to do too much over those 90 days. So you'll increase the chances of accomplishing your goal, and you'll be able to actually get more done if you just focus on one. Okay, next, how to do less but do it better. I don't have a fun, fancy word for this, but this is basically the concept is you're going to do things on repeat. You're going to do less activities, but the whole point is repetition here, because when we repeat things, when we do things over and over again, we get better at it and it becomes easier. And then we get more efficient at it. So I call them the needle movers. These are the like 3 to 5, maybe 7 once you're practiced activities that you're going to do over and over each day, each week that are going to help you accomplish your goal. So, first we have to talk about the core activities. Like, what are the needle movers to begin with? These are things like, I'll give you some examples. These are things like, let's say you have an income goal. And let's say by the end of the 90 days, you want to make $5,000 from from a line. You are going to do this by selling on Instagram. You are going to do this so you're going to go live. Maybe you're going to post on your stories. Maybe you're going to send an email to your list. So like those are 3 big activities that if you do them over and over and over again consistently for the 90 days, you're pretty likely going to hit your goal, right? So determine what those activities are, and then you want to set the frequency. So let's say you're selling mostly on Instagram and through email. You're going to go live once a week. You are going to post on your feed 3 times a week. You're going to post on your stories 5 times a week, and you're going to send 1 email a week. So you can actually score yourself. And what I do with my clients, like we have a scorecard. This is also a concept from the 12-week year. We have a scorecard so we can see, and like I see the ups and downs when I hit like 100%, when I hit above 85%, like I see the increase in my results. Like I see my income increase. So you determine those core activities, set the frequency of how often you're going to do it, and you can score yourself if you want. But what this does is this makes sure that you are always working on things that will move your business forward. So anything else that comes up is a distraction. So as long as you do these core activities, and like you can do them first thing in the morning, you can do them throughout the day. It's just you know exactly what you need to do to move your business forward. So it's really about just kind of like identifying what those needle movers are and then figuring out how to incorporate into your daily schedule. And I'm going to tell you how to do that next. But when you do this, you're actually going to get back time because literally, every single day, those core things that you need to do. And then everything else is great. Like everything else is just a bonus. So I would say you could choose one activity, start off with one activity. Maybe it's send 1 email a week and you just keep doing that over and over again for the 12 weeks and see how far that gets you. So it's really about eliminating those distractions and working on things that will move you forward. So that leads me into step 3. I want to see how I'm doing on time. Perfect. So step 3 is how to prioritize your tasks. This is probably my favorite. I think about, I talk about, I suggest this multiple times a day. And this is the big 1 to 3. I didn't come up with this concept myself. In my first business, um, I didn't have enough money to hire a coach that I wanted to hire, but I kind of followed everything that they were doing. So I listened to the podcasts, I read the books, all of that stuff. And there was this concept of the big 3. And it's basically, and I adapted it a little bit. So the concept is basically like, what are the 3 top things that you need to get done each day? But I took it even further and just thought, if you got nothing else done that day, nothing else done, what is 1 or 2 or 3? It can be just one thing. What is a one thing that'll move your business forward? So sometimes it's going to look like those needle movers we just talked about. Sometimes it looks like something else. So as an example, one of my big 1 to 3s this week was to finish this presentation. So if I got nothing else done, like I had to finish this presentation. So it's kind of simple here, but do it every week and do it every day. So at the beginning of each week, I'll look at what I have going on, whether you like, however you keep your, if you have a to-do list, if you have post-it notes, if you use project management software, just set your big 1 to 3 for the week. If you got nothing else done. So maybe your big one is check off all of my activity, all of my needle movers. Maybe you have, and don't, the point isn't to like try and fit as much in as possible. It's about doing the activities that have the biggest impact. So I was talking about this yesterday with some of my clients, and it's like when we have free time, sometimes we like to fit as much in as possible instead of taking that time to step back. And that can lead to burnout when you're constantly filling your schedule with different things. And another thing that happens too is like, okay, I really want to work on all these things. We challenge it, we take it as a challenge. We're like, yes, I can do it. I'm just going to like put my head down for the next 3 months. And then that leads to burnout too. So it's about being realistic. It's not, there's no competition. You're only competing with yourself. It's not a competition of how much you can get done. If they're not making a big impact, it doesn't matter. So at the beginning of each week, set a big 1 to 3. Sometimes I'll write it on my whiteboard here. I'll write it in my notebook. I'll keep it front and center. And then I also do that each day. So each day, if I got nothing else done, what are the 1, 2, or 3 things that would move my business forward towards that one goal that I've identified? So the result of this, like you'll never question whether you're moving your business forward. You'll never question whether you're working on like the right things. I get that question all the time. How do I know if I'm working on the right things? Because you've already identified it. All ladders up to your big goal, then the activities that you need to do consistently on repeat, and then like how are you going to prioritize that? Like what are the 1, 2, 3 things each day? So if you use the focus filter, I always laugh when I name things. So if you set one goal each 90 days, if you do those few needle moving activities, again, don't do 7 activities if you can't accomplish 7 activities. No one's going to be impressed. And if you use the big 1 to 3, you will have a very easy time avoiding burnout because you simply can't because you're only working on these core activities. So this is a very, very, very small piece of my structure to scale framework that takes you through how to clarify. So like goal setting, what you want, like your big business vision, all of that strategic planning, systemizing. So making sure every area of your business from finance to marketing and sales, making sure those all work together, there's structure in place there, and then optimizing it so everything continues to run kind of on autopilot. So I have my digital course available. I haven't actually sold it as a standalone course yet. Usually I just sell it within my coaching programs, but I'm very excited to share it as a digital course. It is great. It walks you step by step through everything. And you get 10 training modules that walks you through the entire framework. You get all these business planning templates to identify your big business vision. I talk to a lot of people and they're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I just want to make money. I'm like, no, there's a bigger reason. Customizable process templates. So I use Asana. I give you templates for Asana. I give you PDF templates that you can just customize and make your own. And the recommended tools that I use every single day in my business to make it run like a well-oiled machine. So it's a $2,888 value. The price of the course is $297 or 3 payments of $111. But if you purchase it before or by April 6th, you can get $100 off with the code ALIGN. So you can get it for $197. So this goes through everything. If you're looking for more, of what I taught you today, again, that's a small piece. I highly recommend this. And here's where you can reach me. I'm on Instagram at It's Carla Berger. You can send me an email if you have any questions. There's a link to the course here. Shanae, I'll probably send you the presentation because I think it'll be helpful for everyone to have too.
Yeah, and I'll edit the post so that it has all of your contact information in this. And this also goes out in an email to our ambassadors, and they also know that they can invite any of their customers to come
Amazing.
and check this out. It's a great offer for anyone who has anything to run in their lives,
Yes.
anything to manage.
Anything to manage. And there are other ways if you just want to do like short sessions with me, I have different coaching options, group and private, and just reach out to me and I would love to chat with you.
Perfect. I am going to ask you just a couple of questions before
Yeah.
I let you go, if
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So I I love the way your brain works. The first time we talked, I know we kind of chatted a little bit about our passion for just strategy and really streamlining processes and stuff like that. How do you know when one of your big three is something that you shouldn't be one of your big three? Does that question make sense?
It does.
How do
Yeah.
you determine, because I loved this last one. You'll always know you're moving forward in your business. And honestly, one of my greatest strengths and also one of my greatest weaknesses is like I can be consistent through any crises, through any like I do not stop. I can make it happen. I can be consistent. I can, hit my 80% of my check boxes or whatever. How do you know when one of those big three is not moving the needle? How often do you sit down and look at those big three every 90 days? Or do you sit down and look at it more frequently than that to see if it is moving the needle?
The big three or the activities? Because the big three you want to look at each
Mhm.
day and each week. Um, the daily activities, I would give it 90 days. Because, like in marketing too, if you think about it, you need 90 days
Totally.
to tell if something's successful or not. You don't want to just like keep changing things because then that takes away from the whole consistency thing. So, if something is like absolutely not working, that's one thing. But like I always recommend giving it 90 days.
Yeah, I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I have done things that for much longer than that that took a lot more time to pay off.
Yep.
But I started to see glimmers of, so I
Mhm.
ran like a YouTube channel for a couple of years and I was just insanely consistent. But I got a lot of other value from it than the value I set out to get. And then eventually I did start to really bring in customers and new ambassadors and other things from that. But things take a lot of time, I think sometimes,
Things
like
take
surprisingly
time,
longer than you think.
but
Yeah,
like if you follow anyone online, like they'll be like, I did this in a day, like how to get $10,000 in 10 minutes. It's like, no, things take time. There's no one magic pill. Like you have to give things time and you're going to get better at it. So like the first time you do something, you're like you may suck. Like, but then the consistency, it helps you get better and better at it, and then it takes less time, and it all pays off in different ways. Um, but let me know if this helps answer your question too. So I can give an example. So I had set my quarterly goal for Q1, and Rachel, who you mentioned before, Rachel and I decided in February, we're like, oh, we're gonna host an event in Q4. So we like went to work on it, and then I was like, hold up, let's put a pin in this. Let's like not, and we're like, okay, the big 1 to 3, we're gonna get the sales page up, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And I was like, wait a second, this doesn't ladder up to either of our goals right now. Why don't we take a beat and like move it back a little bit? So like at the time we weren't ready to work on it, and now we are. So like now it can become the big 1 to 3. So I don't know if that helps answer your question.
It does. I think all things in business, there's a lot of priorities to attend to, which is why we do have to constantly be evaluating things and also giving them time. And finding that balance is really difficult. I wrote down, do less but do it better, and you'll get time back. I did write down my YouTube channel because I was really bad at it. And so I love that you were like, you'll get better at it and you'll start to see, more results from it. And I could not agree more. So I'm excited to continue this conversation with our line ambassadors and
Yeah.
ask them, what they view as their big, 1 to 3s and then their daily tasks.
Yep.
I give them like a sheet every week of daily tasks and focuses that we're all working on together that hopefully helps. But
Amazing.
truly, the best thing we can all do as business owners is make sure that we're not burning out.
Yes. Yes. Because it is so easy to do. And you like I said in the beginning, you're probably not going to realize it until it's too late. So just start
Yeah,
like when you're doing more and more and more, and you're like, oh no, I can do this, and you're filling up your schedule, like every second of your schedule, that's like when things can start to go downhill. But just make sure you're always working on like the needle movers and doing what matters. So
I love it. Hey, thank you so much for your time today. We truly appreciate you. And this month, we don't have a Cultivate offer from Align, but we do have $10 hand creams. I know Carla got one of our abundance boxes. We have
yeah.
our hand creams are on
Yes.
sale. Yeah, I'm like twinning.
Even me.
Thursday through Saturday, all four of our hand creams are on sale for $10 because it's our 1 year anniversary birthday month. So go ahead and make sure all of your customers and clients know about that. Invite them here to watch Carla on the replay. I had talked to her for today. Everyone's on spring break. You'd think as a mom, I would realize like not all spring breaks are the same. So half of our field is in Vegas, enjoying time with families and in warm weather. So make sure that you invite everyone back to the replay. I will post Carla's information and offer in this group and in the ambassador group. And people can catch the replay in the group and also in our email that goes out Sunday. So thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thanks so much for having me.